Hello friends, I am Nisha Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of English. The topic under discussion today is a character sketch of Muhammad bin Tughlaq from Girish Karnad's play Tughlaq. Tughlaq is Karnad's second play written in 1964. The play was originally written in Kannada and then translated in Kannada by Karnad himself. It is all about the life of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who has ruled in India in 14th century. It is his best loved play about an idealist 14th century Sultan of Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and allegory on the Nehruvian era, which started with ambitious idealism and ended up in disillusionment. Karnad shows the evolution of Tughlaq from an idealist to a tyrant lusty for power and fame, something any Indian for that matter, can relate to easily, especially people who are familiar with the Nehruvian era of Indian politics. Girish Karnad's play Tughlaq explores the character of one of the most fascinating kings to occupy the throne in Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He ruled for 26 years, a period of unparalleled cruelty and agonizing existence for his subjects. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, also known as Prince Fakhr Malik, Juna Khan, Ulugh Khan, was the Sultan of Delhi from 1325 to 1351. He was the eldest son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the Turco-Indian founder of the Tughlaq dynasty. He was born in New Delhi. Muhammad ascended to the Delhi throne upon his father's death in 1325. He ruled for about 26 years till his death on 20th March 1351. A learned man. Tughlaq was a genius and had in astronomy, logic, and mathematics. He learned many languages like Persian, Arabic, and Turkish. He also had knowledge in medicine. He was also a good calligraphist. Historian Lane Paul believed that he was a man beyond his age. Ibn Battuta, the famous traveler and jurist from Morocco, was a guest at his court and wrote about him in his book. A great warrior. From his accession to the throne in 1325 until his death in 1351, Muhammad contended with 22 rebellions, pursuing his policies consistently and ruthlessly. Further, from military point of view, he was an excellent commander, and during the time of Sultan Mubarak Shah Khilji, he was promoted to the rank of the master of the horse from an ordinary soldier. And again, during the time of his father Sultan Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he led the imperial forces to Telangana and Warangal. A man of opposites. There is a lot of controversy among the historians about the character of Tughlaq, but Karnad has presented this man as a man of opposites. The central theme of the play is the complexity in the character of Sultan Tughlaq, who has both the elements good as well as evil. He is a visionary man as well as man of action. Other characters also present Tughlaq's dual personality. His close associates Bernie and the scholarly historian Nazib are practical politicians like him. A complex character. From the very first scene, we come to know about the complex personality of Tughlaq. He can be considered as a learned and an intelligent man. He has abilities to learn and curiosity to know, and he is master in playing chess. He has the knowledge of Quran more than any sheikh, and also a good reader who has read Greek, Farcical, and Arabic literature. Tughlaq wanted his life as a garden of roses, where even thorns also give delight. His imagination expresses his sense about literature, hungry for knowledge. The character of Sultan Tughlaq can be compared with Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, who had same hunger of knowledge, and he had a tragic end, and same tragic end Tughlaq has also faced. He wanted to make a new India, and for him it was very difficult, but he is ready to explain what people don't understand. A fascinating character. He is fascinating because though he was one of the most learned monarchs of Delhi and had great ideas and a grand vision, his reign was also an abject failure. He started his rule with great ideas of a unified India, of Hindus and Muslims being equal in the eyes of the state. He abolished the onerous tax jizya on the Hindus and the Sultan being the first among equals. An innovator. He understood the value of money as not deriving from its intrinsic worth but from the promise behind it and introduced copper coins. Muhammad also increased the land tax to increase the revenue in Doab, but it led to major discontent among the subjects. Muhammad took a very modern step in introducing bronze coins as the token currency. Nevertheless, the absence of a central mint created a huge problem as the government was not able to prevent forgery of coins. Thus, there is no doubt that Muhammad Tughlaq pursued several innovations in different fields. It is another matter that how far he succeeded or failed in carrying out those innovations. Lack of credibility for being suspect of patricide and fratricide. He ascended the throne by dubious means, killing his father and brother during prayer time, though no one was sure. This led to a lack of credibility among his followers from the time he ascended the throne. No one believed what he professed. The play outlines his clever plots to eliminate his opponents and his surviving an assassination attempt by his own courtiers. This was a turning point in his life. He decided to shift his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, ordered every single subject to move from Delhi, banned prayer altogether, and imposed unspeakable cruelties on his subjects. The miseries of the people during the journey, the corruption that was used in endemic, and Tughlaq's progressive alienation and isolation from his people are dramatically portrayed. The play ends with scenes of utter chaos and misery in the kingdom and Tughlaq being left alone, having been abandoned by those who survived him. That is, an ideal ruler. Tughlaq in the play emerges as a headstrong and idealistic ruler. He is vulnerable and constantly admits his mistakes and allows himself to be punished publicly. He moves his capital to Daulatabad because it is a city dominated by the Hindus. This move will further the cause of togetherness and communal unity. Through this character, the idealism of the Nehruvian era is commented upon. Guilty of parricide, Tughlaq is often on the defensive when he is questioned of his crime. His uncompromising generosity and sense of social justice embraces all religions and treats them in an impartial fashion. This character is a device that represents a scathing critique of the nationalist notion of communal harmony and religious coexistence, the very ideals that were valorized before independence but later turned into an anticlimax with the partition of India. An eccentric character. The opening scenes reflect the idiosyncrasies and eccentricities of this character. He contemplates to equate the value of copper coins with silver dinars. In order to establish himself as a worthy ruler, he exposes himself to public scorn and invites public condemnation. He hastens the process of his own nemesis through a series of badly contrived measures at projecting himself as a tolerant and efficient ruler. His irrational and erratic methods are severely criticized by his courtiers and citizens. A great planner, or to say plotter, he emerges as a shrewd contriver and a mercilessly ambitious ruler. He is responsible for the assassination of Sheikh Mohammed, his severest critic, who accuses him of parricide and of being un Islamic. He stabs Shihabuddin when he tries to conspire against him. He is doomed because of his own follies and failures and becomes an insensitive murderer. The height of his insanity is reflected in the later episodes of the play. He later becomes a divided self and suffers from inner turmoil and contradictions. His ultimate isolation in a world turned alien gives a tragic dimension to the play. Tughlaq might be perceived as an over-ambitious alien emperor who aims to rebuild new cities and empires, subjecting the culture of people to colonial strain. Each scene represents the progressive degradation and rehumanization of Tughlaq, leading to his tragic downfall. An open minded king. He was an open minded king. During his time, people had the freedom to choose any religion. He lavishly distributed gold and silver among his subjects and high offices to his loyal officers. Whatever might be the role of Muhammad Tughlaq in the death of his father, but none opposed him when he ascended the throne. The character and achievements of Muhammad Tughlaq have provoked such a large scale controversy among historians as no other ruler of medieval Indian history has claimed. It is not that contemporary records are not available regarding his reign. An attractive character. Muhammad Tughlaq is an attractive figure of medieval Indian history. Not only his character and works, but also his ambitious schemes and their successes and failures too have been regarded attractive and surprising. He inherited a vast empire from his father and extended it further so much so that no other sultan of Delhi ruled over such vast territories as he did. He was very much faithful to his own religion and obeyed the religious rites and was regular at his daily prayers. He abstained himself from drinking in public. Yet, within 10 years of his accession to on the throne, his empire began to disintegrate and he failed to keep intact even those territories which he had inherited. The same way, though he inherited an overflowing treasury and enriched it further, yet he faced economic hardships. Besides, he innovated liberal principles and policies which were ahead of his age. He was liberal in religious affairs, developed diplomatic relations with distant countries like China, Iran, and Egypt, neglected all class and race distinctions, assigned offices strictly on merit, and carried out certain new schemes of reforms. Yet he displeased his subjects, faced the large number of revolts of his subjects and nobles, and ultimately failed. Believed in the divine theory of kingship. The theory of kingship of Muhammad Tughlaq was divine theory of kingship. He believed that he became sultan because of the will of God. Therefore, he believed in absolute powers of the sultan. Like Alauddin, Muhammad Tughlaq did not permit any individual or any class to interfere in his administration. His ministers and officers were simply his subordinates to carry out his orders. None of them wielded any independent power or dared to advise him. The ulema class enjoyed monopoly over administration of justice. He broke up that monopoly and appointed qazis outside this class of people. He used to change the decisions of qazis whenever he found them unjust and discriminating. If a religious man was found guilty of corruption or rebellion, he was punished like any other ordinary person. Thus, nobody was above laws of the land. Dr. Irfan Habib has expressed that the Nobility of Muhammad Tughlaq consisted of not only nobles of high families, but also of other different groups, particularly the Mongols, foreign Muslims, the Hindus, etc. Another novelty of Muhammad Tughlaq was that he maintained diplomatic relations with several foreign countries like China, Iraq, Syria, etc., and exchanged ambassadors with some of them. Liberal towards Hindu. Muhammad Tughlaq was tolerant towards his Hindu subjects. He was the first Sultan of Delhi who distributed offices on merit and gave respectable offices to the Indian Muslims and the Hindus also. In this field, he was ahead of his time. Probably this was one reason why contemporary Muslim historians commented against him. Now, by concluding, we can say while the Sultan marched towards him, he fell ill. Hardly had he reached near Thatta when he died of sickness on 20th March 1351 AD. Badauni commented, the king was freed from his people and they from king. Thus, Muhammad Tughlaq remained busy throughout his reign in suppressing revolts and even died while suppressing one of them. Probably no other Sultan of Delhi faced such a large number of revolts which made their headway right from early period of his reign. Most of them were because of his faulty policies, their faulty execution, and attitudes of the Sultan himself. Thank you.